When replacing an electrical panel, especially in a confined space, several factors must be considered to ensure safety and code compliance. Firstly, verify local codes. Check with the local electrical inspector to confirm that a 12-inch wide outdoor panel is permissible in your area. Local codes may have specific requirements or restrictions that differ from the National Electrical Code, NEC. Secondly, consider different mounting options. Investigate the possibility of mounting the panel on the opposite side of the wall or on an adjacent wall. This may require running new conduits and wiring, but it could provide more space and easier access. 3. Explore the option of replacing with a custom-sized panel. Consult with an electrician or an electrical supplier about the availability of custom-sized panels that can fit the 12-inch space. Custom panels can be more expensive, but they can be a solution when standard sizes won't work. Addressing the question about meter clearance, the National Electrical Code, NEC, requires a 3-foot clearance from the service drop to the nearest window, door, or other opening that could allow water to enter the building. This clearance applies to both the weatherhead and the meter. It is crucial to maintain this clearance to prevent electrical hazards and ensure safety. Remodeling considerations involve several steps. Firstly, if moving the service is unavoidable, rewire the service entrance to the new location. This is a complex and potentially hazardous job that should only be performed by a qualified electrician. Moving the service entrance requires careful planning and execution to ensure it meets all applicable codes and regulations. Secondly, obtain the necessary permits. All electrical work, including panel replacement and service relocation, requires a permit. Contact the local building department to obtain the necessary permits. Working without permits can result in fines and delays, and it may also compromise the safety of the installation. Additional tips include consulting with an electrician. It's highly recommended to consult with a licensed electrician for guidance and to ensure the remodeling project adheres to all applicable codes and safety standards. An electrician can assess the situation, provide expert advice, and perform the work safely and correctly. Use caution when working with electrical components. Always turn off the power before working on any electrical components. Take appropriate safety precautions, such as wearing protective clothing and using insulated tools. Working with electricity can be dangerous, and it is essential to take all necessary precautions to prevent injury. Avoid do-it-yourself, DIY, electrical work. Electrical work can be dangerous and should only be performed by qualified individuals. If you are not comfortable with any aspect of the remodeling job, it's best to hire a professional electrician. Attempting to do electrical work without the proper training and experience can lead to serious injuries or even death. Now let's delve into more detail regarding panel replacement options and NEC compliance. Finding a 200 amp outdoor panel that fits within a 12-inch wide space can be particularly challenging because standard panels are often wider than that to accommodate the necessary breakers and wiring. There are a few strategies to consider. Firstly, research compact panel options. Some manufacturers offer compact-sized panels specifically designed for tight spaces. These panels may use smaller breakers or have a more streamlined design to reduce the overall width. Look for panels that meet the 200 amp requirement and are certified for outdoor use. Secondly, consider a sub-panel. Instead of replacing the main panel with a single 200 amp panel, consider installing a smaller main panel and adding a sub-panel to distribute the load. This approach can allow you to fit a smaller panel in the available space and then run a feeder to a larger sub-panel located elsewhere. Thirdly, evaluate load requirements. Assess the actual load requirements of the electrical system. It's possible that a 200 amp panel is not necessary and a smaller panel would suffice. If the load calculations indicate that a smaller panel is adequate, this can open up more options for panel replacement. Now let's look at meter and weatherhead clearance from windows. The NEC Section 24 requires that service conductors, including the weatherhead and meter, maintain a minimum clearance of 3 feet horizontally from windows, doors, porches, fire escapes, or similar locations. The intent is to prevent accidental contact with energized parts and to ensure that water cannot enter the building through these openings. If the existing meter is only 5 inches away from the window, it does not meet the NEC requirements. Correcting this situation is essential for safety and code compliance. There are several ways to address this issue. One is to relocate the meter. The most straightforward solution is to move the meter and weatherhead to a location that meets the 3-foot clearance requirement. This may involve moving the service entrance conductors and possibly the point of attachment to the building. 2. Use a barrier. In some cases, it may be possible to install a physical barrier between the meter and the window to provide the necessary clearance. The barrier must be durable and prevent accidental contact with the energized parts. This option may require approval from the local electrical inspector. When considering remodeling options, it's crucial to adhere to all applicable codes and safety standards. Rewiring the service entrance involves disconnecting the existing service conductors from the utility, removing the old panel, and installing a new panel in the desired location. It also involves running new service entrance conductors from the weatherhead to the new panel. This work must be performed by a qualified electrician who is familiar with the NEC and local codes. Obtaining permits is a critical step in any electrical project. The local building department requires permits for electrical work to ensure that the work is performed safely and in accordance with the applicable codes. To obtain a permit, you typically need to submit an application with detailed information about the project, including drawings and specifications. The building department will review the application and issue a permit if it meets the requirements. Inspections are performed at various stages of the project to ensure that the work is being done correctly. Finally, let's discuss some additional safety precautions and best practices. Always de-energize the circuit. Before working on any electrical components, always turn off the power at the main breaker. Use a voltage tester to verify that the circuit is de-energized before touching any wires or terminals. Use insulated tools. Use insulated tools that are designed for electrical work. Insulated tools provide an extra layer of protection against electric shock. Wear protective clothing. Wear appropriate protective clothing, such as safety glasses and rubber gloves, to protect yourself from electrical hazards. Work in a well-lit area. Work in a well-lit area to ensure that you can see what you are doing and avoid making mistakes. Follow manufacturer's instructions. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions when installing or working on electrical components. These instructions provide important information about the proper installation and operation of the equipment. Avoid working alone. Avoid working alone on electrical projects. It's always a good idea to have someone else nearby in case of an emergency. Inspect equipment regularly. Inspect electrical equipment regularly for signs of damage or wear. Replace any damaged equipment immediately. Stay informed. Stay informed about the latest electrical codes and safety standards. This information can help you to avoid making mistakes and ensure that your electrical work is safe and compliant. Remember, electrical work can be dangerous and should only be performed by qualified individuals. If you are not comfortable with any aspect of the remodeling job, it's best to hire a professional electrician. These considerations will ensure a safe and compliant panel replacement. Firstly, assess the existing electrical load to determine the appropriate size for the new panel. Conduct a load calculation to determine the total amperage required for all circuits in the home. This calculation should include all appliances, lighting, and other electrical devices. The new panel should have a capacity that is equal to or greater than the calculated load. Secondly, review the NEC Article 10, which covers working space about electrical equipment. This section requires that there be sufficient space around electrical equipment to allow for safe operation and maintenance. The working space must be clear and unobstructed and must meet minimum depth, width, and height requirements. The depth of the working space depends on the voltage of the equipment and the presence of any exposed live parts. The width of the working space must be at least 30 inches, and the height must be at least 6 feet 6 inches. 3. Consider the location of the new panel. The new panel should be located in a dry, well-ventilated area that is easily accessible. Avoid installing the panel in damp or humid locations, as this can increase the risk of corrosion and electrical shock. Also, the panel should not be located in an area where it is likely to be damaged by physical impact. 4. Select the appropriate type of panel. There are several types of electrical panels available, including main panels, subpanels, and transfer switches. The type of panel you choose will depend on the specific requirements of the electrical system. Main panels are typically used to supply power to the entire home, while subpanels are used to distribute power to specific areas of circuits. Transfer switches are used to switch between the utility power and the backup generator. 5. Install the panel according to the manufacturer's instructions and NEC guidelines. Follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully when installing the new panel. Also, adhere to all applicable NEC guidelines. This includes properly grounding the panel, connecting the service entrance conductors, and wiring the branch circuits. 6. Label all circuits clearly. Label all circuits in the new panel clearly and accurately. This will make it easier to identify and troubleshoot circuits in the future. Use a circuit directory to list the location and function of each circuit. 7. Test the panel after installation. After installing the new panel, test it thoroughly to ensure that it is working properly. Use a multimeter to verify that the voltage is correct at each circuit breaker. Also, test the ground fault circuit interrupter, GFCI outlets to ensure that they are functioning properly. Additional considerations include surge protection. Consider installing a surge protector at the main panel to protect the electrical system from voltage spikes. Surge protectors can help to prevent damage to electronic devices and appliances. Arc fault circuit interrupter (ASI) protection. Arc fault circuit interrupter (ASI) breakers are designed to protect against electrical fires caused by arc faults. Consider using ASI breakers for all circuits in the home, especially those that serve bedrooms and living areas. Future expansion. Plan for future expansion when selecting a new panel. Choose a panel that has enough space to accommodate additional circuits if needed. This will avoid the need to replace the panel again in the future. Professional installation. If you are not comfortable with any aspect of the panel replacement, it's best to hire a professional electrician. A qualified electrician can ensure that the work is done safely and correctly. By following these steps, you can ensure a safe and compliant panel replacement. Also, remember to document all work done, including the permits obtained.